and welcome to Art Tip Tuesday. Have you ever wondered why your drawings look quite flat and you wish that they had more depth and that they popped off the page and looked a little bit more 3D? Well, I'm going to give you a little tip that I think is going to help. It doesn't take long, it's really easy to do, and it works on everything: feather, fur, skin, whatever. So I really hope you enjoy this tip and it helps you to make your drawings look a little bit more realistic and make them pop from the page.
At this stage, I've added all of the colours that I think I need into the feathers, but it's not completely there. It looks a little bit flat. There is some form because of the shadows, but what I'm now doing is going in with a Payne's grey pencil, very lightly, with small circles or very, very light back and forth motion. I'm going over the whole of a lighter area to create shadow. So you can see I'm taking my time and I'm just going into the areas that are shadowed by the beak or the top of the head. Putting these shadows in are so important to create that form. It really makes that lighter part, that white part just under the beak, stand forward. The same with the rest. So I'm going down into the left hand side and there's a part of the feathers that stands on top of the blue. So what I'm doing now is going in again with the Payne's grey and just lightly adding more shadow over the top of the blue. What this does is called glazing, is it actually creates shadow without losing any of the detail and any of the colour underneath. What it does is it darkens it up evenly so that you can create form. So when your drawing is looking particularly flat, it probably means that certain areas aren't standing forward, and to create that illusion you need to have lighter parts and darker parts. I'm going into the feathers now underneath, and by adding a deeper shadow under some of the feathers, it's going to make the ones on top look like they are standing forward. So again, going in with the Payne's grey and just adding a little bit more darkness to the shadows that I've already created. You can see by adding just a little bit more underneath those feathers that are meant to be standing forward, it looks like that the bottom section is then pushed back because it's more in shadow. You can glaze over big areas of fur or feathers. It works for anything actually. I tend to use Payne's grey or dark sepia or maybe the warm grey 6 or the cold grey 6 depending on the colours, and you can see here that I want that lighter section of the blue to stand forward and to really stand out, and so I'm darkening the areas around it and darkening the feathers that are going to be naturally in shadow from the feathers above. So you need to think about your light source, where that's coming from, and then anything underneath that probably needs to be darkened a little bit more. At this point, sometimes you think your drawing is finished, you may have had enough, you've spent hours and hours and hours, but I guarantee just going over the whole drawing for an extra half an hour is really going to make it pop. It's going to make it look more realistic, it's going to create form, it's going to create that curve, and it's going to make certain areas look like they are standing forward. The last thing I do is go in with a black and I just add to the very, very darkest parts like the eye and parts of the beak, and that's going to make it pop. The black tends to sink into the paper a little bit, and so you might need to go over at the end, and I guarantee this is really going to make your drawings pop forward and look much more realistic. So darkening up a little bit under the beak because that's the darkest shadow. Squinting your eyes helps, and just seeing where the darkest darks are and only adding black to those sections, because you don't want it to be too much. You don't want it to look cartoony and outline things, which sometimes black can make it look like that. We're just deepening the very, very darkest darks.
I hope you enjoyed the video and you're going to try that technique out for yourself and see if it does make a difference to your artwork. I would love to know. If you did enjoy this video and would like to see more, then please do like and subscribe and share this video with your friends if you think it could be helpful to them. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.